Greetings of the day. Hope you all are having a great time. Let's get started with a new session. My name is Ms. Prachi Vani, and today we will discuss characteristics of services. So services are said to be intangible because they are more to do with the performance and less with the product. Product with little or no physical content is very difficult to sell. This is the reason we say services are to be experienced. The growth of services compared to product has created a demand for more research and related marketing. Services marketing is a specialized branch of marketing. This emerged as a separate field of study in the early 1980s, following the marketers recognized that unique characteristics of services will require different strategies compared to the marketing of physical goods, which are the products. Now let's understand a little bit about growth of the service sector in India. ELP, which is Economic Liberalization Policy of 1991, changed the nature of the service market. This was the time when we saw entry of an automated teller machine. So we are talking about technology here, with international brands like Citibank, Apple, IBM, CNN, Sony entered the Indian market. Now this major change happened because Monopolies and Restrictive Practices Act was abolished. This change happened because 51% of foreign capital was allowed. This happened because participation and encouragement of foreign technology was welcome. And expansion of the economy happened because private sectors were allowed to enter in the public sector. So India's service sector is the largest sector to receive FDI in $82 billion from the year April 2002 to March 2020. FDI is foreign direct investment. So we experience services in our daily life, starting from milkman who delivers milk in the morning. We have popular applications nowadays named Country Delight and Provilac. We have electrician who visits to repair an electronic equipment. We have a brand known as Urban Clap, now Urban Company, who is into this service. Food is ordered and delivered from a fast food outlet. We all have heard about Zomato and Swiggy. Grocery delivered at home. We all know Big Basket, DMart, and many other brands. These are various examples of services we see in our daily life. Under individual or group services, we have haircutting salons, doctor services. Under personal services, we have coaching class, hotels, schools, central schools or global schools, infrastructural services, railways and power, entertainment park, we all know Disneyland, public services, police and defense. So let's understand the difference in between a product and a service. Now products are produced. So goods are produced. Then they are stored and sold. So an example of a product here is a cup of coffee. And services are performed. So process of performance is tied to the product. Here you see a service personnel serving a product which is a coffee. So services are unique and they're different from the product. These are to be studied well if we are in services business. So let's begin with the characteristics of services. So we are talking about 4 characteristics of services, starting intangibility. That means services cannot be touched. Inconsistency, services are not consistent. Inseparability, cannot separate service provider and the service itself. Inventory, services cannot be stored. Let's understand this one by one. The first one is inconsistency. Now, services are highly variable. Services involve processes delivered by service personnel and they are subject to human variation. The quality of the service depends on who provides it and when and where. So problem that we face because of this characteristic is service standards and quality control are difficult as they are produced and consumed simultaneously. Perishability or inventory. Now this second characteristic is saying that service performances are short term. Unlike physical goods, services cannot be stored or invented. Now the problem that we face because of this characteristic is matching demand and supply. So for example, empty covers in F&B outlet cannot be sold next day in spite of having more demand on that particular day. The third characteristic here is intangibility. Services lack physical form. They do not interact with any senses conventionally. They cannot be touched or held. To reduce the challenge of selling services, buyers look for tangible evidence. Problem that we face because of this characteristic is overall it is very challenging to sell services rather than selling a good. And services are difficult when it comes to displaying as compared to products, and pricing of the services is little crucial. The fourth characteristic is inseparability. Here the interaction between the service provider and the customer is a must, and it is very important and critical. So production and consumption cannot be separated. Hence, understanding the entire service delivery system is necessary. Challenges due to inseparability is physical connections of the service provider. So when you are providing a service, the service personnel is physically present, and customers' involvement during receiving the services is also important. So we are talking about both the parties present to deliver or to receive the service. With this, other customers' involvement and their opinion is influencing. So we are talking about, let's say you are having a coffee in a coffee shop and you did not like the coffee. There are other people sitting in the restaurant. When you call the service provider, you tell him that I'm not happy with the coffee. Other customers are listening to your opinion. So this will definitely have an impact on the service. And challenges in mass production of services. Example, event in banquets for 100 people. So all 100 people will not receive the same service. Other key points to remember which are related to first 4 characteristics that we studied. Lack of ownership. The users have just an access to the service. They cannot own the service. Difficult to measure the quality. It is very difficult to rate or quantify the total purchase of the service. And the last key point is services cannot be delivered to customers or users as we will do it for a product. An important note, a right strategy will solve all the problems caused due to various characteristics of services. So there is absolutely no reason to worry. A quick recap. Here we see a service personnel and a customer. Both the parties are present in a coffee shop. We are talking about inseparability. Then we are saying the service personnel will serve in a different style. So the service personnel that you see here in the image will have a different style compared to a person who's not present. So you might have someone else coming next day and serving absolutely in a different style. We're talking about inconsistency. A customer cannot touch the service, but they can very well touch the coffee. They can very well taste the coffee. So intangibility. And the last characteristic is inventory. If the service personnel is present in the outlet but without a customer, his service cannot be stored and used next day. Now, quiz link is in the video description. Please go ahead and attempt the quiz. References and credit. If you see, there is a YouTube link I have given. Please go ahead, watch that video to understand difference in between a product and service. By doing that, you will understand characteristics of services in detail. On that note, thank you and see you soon. In the meantime, you all take care of your health.